Wish TV is focused on family and the community and is committed to sharing the stories of those who are making a difference every day. From the All Indiana Podcast Network and Wish TV, this is Behind the Eight Podcast with Wish TV's George Mallet.
This is George Mallet, and this is the Behind the Eight Podcast, where we talk to people behind the scenes here at Wish TV 8. In a moment, we'll talk to Mother Tara Hastings. You already knew she was a meteorologist. We're going to talk about the joys of motherhood.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app, bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecast, radar, and Indiana sports, all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
And we are now joined here on the Behind the Eight podcast by Tara Hastings. And the reason, Tara, I wanted to talk to you was because my observation is that you absolutely love being a mom.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So, it's my favorite thing.
So give me a little bit of the history, because you and I have that in common, that we weren't kids when we became parents.
We were not.
So kind of take me through the what led you to make the decision and how much fun it is.
Well, I've always wanted to be a mom. And I was coming to the point where I thought, gosh, is this ever going to happen? And then I met my husband, and he had, at the time, my stepdaughter was about 7-8 years old when we met. But I always wanted to have a baby of my own. And I thought, listen, being a stepmom is great. And if that's all that we were able to have, that would be fine. But we were blessed with a little baby. And when we found out I was pregnant, it was on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And my in-laws were in town. And the chief meteorologist, Ashley Brown, she was pregnant and getting ready to deliver in about a month or so. And we were talking about her, and he walked in and he's like, "Oh, so you're having a baby?" And I was like, and my mother-in-law looks at him and she goes, "No, she's talking about her coworker." And I just kind of froze because I'm like, we had just found out that morning. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm lying to my in-laws already. But we were just so overwhelmed and so excited. And I mean, everything I thought I knew about pregnancy and you have to throw all of that out the window, right? Because it varies for everyone.
And I've always sort of felt like there are unique challenges in not having children when you're a kid.
Yes.
But there are also advantages in terms of, and you and I were talking about this when we weren't recording, about just having greater patience.
Oh, yes. I have so much more patience now than I did before, I think, in my 20s and 30s, right? Especially, I think that goes to, over the last 5-6 years, I've been a caretaker for my dad who has early-onset Alzheimer's. And that has really provided me with a lot of patience. And I think that was very helpful, having to go through that span before becoming a mother. Really gave me the tools and okay, just take it easy. And also kind of thinking on my feet, right? And listening to my gut instincts when something isn't right. Advocating for my dad, because he doesn't have the ability due to his disease to stick up for himself.
Right.
So that gave me the knowledge, I would say, and the patience to deal with a teething baby, which we just had over the weekend. 4 to 5 teeth she cut over the weekend. Woo.
Now, how old is your daughter now?
She is 10 months.
Okay, so we really are we haven't even gotten to what they always call the terrible twos.
Oh, man, I thought those teeth coming in were was a little rough. That was really bad. But if we're going to get them all, let's get them all done. Or not all of them, but, several at once, right?
If it's any comfort going forward, my father always said that everybody should have a 2-year-old in the house at all times because they are just so entertaining.
Oh, of course. Well, and the 10-month-old is really entertaining, along with the 10-year-old. I mean, we have my 10-year-old stepdaughter. Oh, she's got this really quick wit too, and she is just really entertaining. Comes up with all these funny jokes that she makes up herself, and very intelligent. I just look at her. I'm like, "Are you 10, really?"
So, tell me about the challenges. I mean, you are arguably in the prime of your career.
Yes.
And you got a 10-month-old baby at home. Mm-hmm. So, to what extent does this tax your finite resources?
Oh boy, there are some times when I come into work and I don't really have a lot of sleep. Mm-hmm. But I think, I moved about a year ago while I was still pregnant to the weekend daybreak shift. Uh-huh. And that just, I feel like, has provided me with so much more time in the afternoon to spend with my family on the weekends. And I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I get done with work, I come home, sometimes the baby's still awake, sometimes she's napping, but I feel like I get so much more time with my husband and my stepdaughter and the baby in the afternoon. During the week, can be a little taxing if I'm working, a night shift. I don't necessarily get to see her all that much or my family. But I think the key is having a really supportive partner.
Yeah.
And he is just so amazing. I'll handle bedtime, or we have a calendar and we decide the week before on Sunday, okay, like here's what the week entails. On Monday and Tuesday, I'll do drop off, you do pick up, or vice versa, or whatever. So we kind of have that discussion. I think, the flexibility between the two of us, I could not have asked for a better partner in that too,
That's very helpful.
Yes, it is so key.
You mentioned your father, the challenges in dealing with early onset Alzheimer's.
Yes.
To what extent is he aware of the fact that he has a granddaughter, and is he in a place where he can get any enjoyment out of this?
I will tell you, his disease has progressed. He has a really good aphasia where he really cannot come up with words and have a conversation with you. But when I do say, I love you, he does say back, I love you too. He does know who I am. And his face lights up every single time I come in there with her. And he goes, oh, even if he's like kind of sleepy in the mid-morning hours, his face just perks up and he's like, oh, look at there, or doesn't really know her name or remember her name, but that's okay. He smiles and he loves taking her for a walk. I'll bring in the stroller because it's just so much easier to bring in the stroller in the memory care. And if the day is nice, and we'll go for a walk outside and walk around the building a couple of times. He's a pacer. He loves to just walk and pace the hallways. So we'll get out and walk around the building a couple of times. He loves that. Or just up and down the hall if it's raining. He will just go nonstop back and forth and just enjoys it. And sometimes there's been a couple of times where I've had to, change her, and he'll just take the stroller without the baby and just walk up and down. It's like his thing. And so it's really refreshing to me to see that. Yeah. Because I do think he knows. And recognizes the little baby. And that's something that, he's always, right before he lost his ability to write and to speak and in coherent sentences, he did write me a note and said, one day I hope you have a little girl. Is the best thing when I was able to hold you in my arms and when you were first born. So he got to do. He was able to express that to me, and I think that was really, really, really precious.
And clearly you're able to appreciate that in those moments when he's pushing your daughter in the stroller. Oh,
melts my heart.
Yeah.
Melts my heart when I see him do that. And just the look on his face, and just sometimes he just starts giggling at her or whatever whenever she makes a funny face, or says something or smiles and you go, look at that, So, yeah.
Now, one of the advantages that young parents have that you and I didn't have is that you can use your parents as caregivers, because they're,
yes,
they're the age I am now. So
built-in babysitters.
So what is there any sadness in not having that kind of resource?
I think so, yeah, because it would have been wonderful to see him pick her up and watch her. I joke around and I go, "Are you going to change your diaper?" No. My mom often jokes that he didn't really change my diapers either. So it's just kind of a funny joke. But I do miss that. But you know what? I think you just cherish the time that you have, and this is the circumstance that we're under, and this is what I'm going to deal with and live in the moment. One of my friends, when he retired from the Air Force, said, "Time is a non-renewable resource. Use it wisely." And I have just been living that ever since I found out my dad was not doing well. So I just think it's really important to just soak up those moments.
Yeah. So that being the case, what advice or tips might you have for somebody considering motherhood in their mid-30s as opposed to their late 20s?
I would say, I feel like, first of all, I feel personally as women that our bodies, have evolved over the years. And I think it's more common that women are waiting and doing their best in their careers, living that life. And so I wouldn't worry too much about age as a number. Go ahead and do it. I mean, I was 41 when I got pregnant and gave birth at just shy of a couple weeks after I turned 42. And yeah, I was considered high risk and all this. And they watched me carefully, and I appreciated it. But you can wait. It's okay. Do what you need to do. Wait for the right person. Wait for the right time, right circumstance, and live it up and enjoy it. Enjoy it.
So you and I were about 10 years apart in our lives when we became parents, and it's obviously different for fathers, but I can remember one of the doctors warning me, like pretty well into the pregnancy, that there was a greater chance of my son being on the autism spectrum. And all I could think was, why are we having this conversation?
Right.
I'm so happy that I'm going to be a dad.
Exactly. So. And, and I had to do all the genetic testing and everything just to make sure. And then on one of my Facebook memories today just popped up that I was 32 weeks pregnant this time last year, and I had to do non-stress tests twice a week. So they would go in there, strap this little sensor to my belly and listen to the heartbeat. And at first I was really annoyed, but then I thought, okay, fine. Well, this is all just to ease their minds, make sure that I'm healthy, baby's healthy. We want a healthy pregnancy for a healthy birth. And so I was like, all right, fine. And it was neat that I was able to spend some extra time with her, just her and I think, listening to her heartbeat, and she had hiccups a lot so I was able to hear that. It was kind of cute. So,
well, Tara, I'm just wondering now if there's anything else that is, that you feel is important you'd like to share with anybody considering parenthood.
Oh, gosh. Patience. Got to be patient. And you know what? I think, too, we were also worried about, daycare, me coming back to work. How are we going to find someone to watch the baby, And it'll all work out. My husband was not as freaked out as I was, and I was getting a little anxious about how are we going to find somebody, and something just happened to fall right into our lap when we weren't even expecting it. So just take a deep breath. It'll all end up working out. You will find a way, and just soak up all of the moments, because they do go by fast. I feel like 10 months already. We're talking about planning her first birthday. It's going to be at the end of July already. Like, where did this time go?
And becoming a parent's an act of faith, isn't it?
It is. Oh, absolutely.
She is Tara Hastings. You already knew she's an awesome meteorologist, and now you also know she's an awesome mom. Thanks for joining us today. And again, this is George Mallet. Thanks so much for joining us for the Behind the 8 podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and others on the All Indiana Podcast Network, and certainly follow us on Facebook.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Behind the 8 podcast with Wish TV's George Mallet. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And connect for even more on Facebook and at wishtv.com.